For Comedy Hype News, I'm Terrence Sims. Comedians are some of our best and most celebrated truth tellers. Their views of past and current situations make us laugh and think all at the same time. On a couple of occasions, they may present us with scenarios that may not come into fruition until months or years down the line, as they predicted the future. So here are some comedians that jokes seem to have predicted the future. For starters, Chris Rock and the Dodge commercial. On November 1st, 2014, former Saturday Night Live cast member Chris Rock returned to his alma mater and acted as the show's host for the second time and first time since '96 with a special music guest performance by Prince. In opening his monologue, Chris touched on the bombing at the NYC Marathon, the recently built Freedom Tower, and the commercialization of holidays. He joked that pretty soon we're going to start seeing some 9/11 sales.
Martin Luther King Day is going to be the same thing. You're going to be watching TV like, these Toyotas are practically free at last, free at last.
The monologue itself received mixed reviews from criticism for his take on the bombing and the new Freedom Building, but not much was vocalized about the holiday portion. 4 years later, a Rams truck commercial was broadcasted during the 2018 Super Bowl game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. The commercial showed scenes of people helping each other while a Dr. Martin Luther King speech that explained the virtues of service played in the background, with the commercial ending with the phrase, "built to serve." The commercial trended on social media and people weren't pleased. The backlash put Ram in a not so good situation that advertisers offered fear. Fumbling a 30-second ad that sells upward of $5 million and is watched by more than 100 million viewers. Ironically enough, this ad also came during the same year football players sat and kneeled during the national anthem in protest of racial oppression and police brutality. It's common practice that advertisers usually release their ad ahead of the game, but Ram did not. In true social media fashion, people made sure to tweet out to their disapproval. That Tuesday, the Martin Luther King Jr. Center posted this to their official Twitter account. Neither the King Center nor Bernice King is the entity that approves the use of MLK's words or imagery for use in merchandise, entertainment, movies, music, artwork, or advertisement, including tonight's Dodge Super Bowl commercial. Ram did approach Dr. King's estate in order to use his voice in the spot, said Eric D. Tidwell. Once the final creative was presented for approval, it was reviewed to ensure it met our standard integrity clearances. We found that the overall message of the ad embodied Dr. King's word about the value of service. We worked closely with the representatives of the Martin Luther King Jr. estate to receive the necessary approvals that the estate representatives were a very important part of the creative process every step of the way. Another story, D.L. Hughley and Kirk Franklin. D.L. Hughley is 1/4 of the legendary comedy quartet, the original Kings of Comedy. Hughley is widely known for being astute and politically savvy in his style of comedy, and recently, he has been recognized for making a prediction himself dating back almost 20 years. While touring with the Kings of Comedy in the late 90s, one of Hughley's sets included a bit that called the hypocrisy of religious individuals and the evolution of gospel music, using Kirk Franklin as the subject of his joke. For the 5 of you who don't know who Kirk Franklin is, he's a choir director, singer, and songwriter. Franklin has won a total of 16 Grammy Awards. He's been dubbed by Variety magazine as the reigning king of urban gospel and even inducted into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame. Franklin blazed the charts with hits like Revolution and Stomp, which at the time of the 90s, that style of gospel music was brand new and frowned upon by some. And DL poked fun of that as well.
I don't call myself religious because I've seen folk who's supposed to be religious be some of those hypocritical motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. You're gonna be saved every goddamn day. And like all y'all, I love Kirk Franklin, but that ain't gospel Kirk singing. Kirk gonna around cuss one day, ain't he? Put your mother, oh, I'm sorry.
In March of 2021, Carrie and Franklin, Franklin's son, shared an audio of a conversation between he and his father that included a disagreement between Kirk and his son that included some curse words.
You need to get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. Because
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old.
What's up? I will punch your neck, nigga. You ever disrespect me?
Franklin quickly became a trending topic on social media, and as you could probably guess, the Christian community had a lot to say towards the situation that caused Franklin to issue a public apology. DL took to his official Instagram page and had this to say: "I'm with Kirk Franklin on that one. That's his son. Mind you, his 30-something-year-old son, I heard two grown-ass men talking. Another story, Damon Wayans and Terry Crews. In May of 1991, In Living Color star and writer Damon Wayans dropped his HBO comedy special titled The Last Stand. In the special, Wayans touches on a variety of topics including kids, work, life, and racism in America. One clip from the special that has gone viral over the past couple of years pertains to the use of black famous people in the attempt of denying that racism still exists in America.
Usually, anytime white people want to smooth some shit over, they go get that rich nigga and put you on TV to represent the people, you know? Is there racism in America? You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck, talking about, no, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none.
The joke itself can be compared to any controversial opinion on race given by a black celebrity, but most recently, social media has compared it to Terry Crews and his reaction to Gabrielle Union's accusations of a toxic work environment during the production of the show. The actress serves as a judge on the panel of season 14 of the show, but Union and the show would eventually part ways due to the producers not heeding her concerns and rejecting them, which would eventually lead to termination of her contract. In January of 2020, Crews appeared on an episode of the Today Show, and Crews addressed the reports of Union and her departure. I can't speak for sexism because I am not a woman, but I can speak on behalf of any racism comments. That was never my experience on America's Got Talent. In fact, it was the most diverse place I have ever been my 20 years of entertainment. The top 10 acts were Asian, women, older, younger, black, white. It was everything in the gamut. Union appeared on Jamel Hill is Unbothered podcast, and Union was questioned by the host about if she felt Crews was an ally or helpful in any way, and Union responded, "At the end of the day, the work that I'm doing to make sure that NBC is a more fair and equitable place of employment will benefit you, Crews, as well." Union said, "So it's okay to eat your cereal and let me do my thing and get out of the way. If you're not going to help, then get out of the way. If you don't feel financially comfortable or spiritually comfortable, or you just flat out disagree, but at the end of the day, he will benefit from a safer, more equitable workplace from what I stuck my neck out to do and got fired for, you know, instead of actively working against progress." Following Union's appearance on the podcast, the conversation went viral and led to Crews to issue an apology via Twitter. "This will be my third public apology to Gabrielle Union. If the fourth is needed, I will continue to apologize and push for reconciliation between the world, and more importantly, the culture I grew up in. I'm sorry, Gabrielle Union." Another story, Richard Pryor and a chokehold. In 1979, Richard Pryor released his stand-up film, Richard Pryor, live in concert. The film displayed Richard's use of his exaggerated facial expressions, his keen sense of observations, and his acting experience helped him to deliver his hilarious take on race, sex, and family. One standout bit that has seemed to stand the test of time is the police use of deadly chokeholds.
Man, they choke niggas to death. That mean you be dead when they through. Right? Did you know that?
The bit is Pryor at his absolute best. Even with the dark tone, his spot-on portrayal will have you in stitches. While the deaths of individuals by the hands of law enforcement is not new, it still has a sense of him having knowledge of incidents before they have even taken place. That same year of 1978, Brooklyn businessman and civil rights leader Arthur Miller was killed after being choked with the billy club by an officer. Miller was approached by officers while they were attempting to serve a summons to Miller's younger brother, due to reports of debris that had built up on a construction site that the Millers were turning into a wedding hall. While doing a background check, Samuel's license showed up as suspended and backup was called, and two more officers arrived to arrest him after attempting to flee. Police subdued and choked Miller to death. Witnesses said foam could be seen coming from his mouth and his feet could be seen hanging out of the police car. Arthur Miller died at the precinct, and a total of 9 officers refused to speak with police investigators. Miller's death sparked protests and petitions, but the jury refused to indict any of the officers involved. At the time, Miller had a 6-week-old son and is commonly known as the first "I Can't Breathe" of modern times. A recent example that comes to mind is the 2014 murder of 43-year-old Staten Island man Eric Garner. Garner was killed after being put in a chokehold by NYPD officer Daniel Pantaleo. Officers approached Garner July 17th on suspicions of selling single cigarettes from packs without a tax stamp. Garner told police that he was not selling cigarettes, and then they proceeded to apprehend him. Pontilillo placed his arms around his neck and wrestled him to the ground, while multiple other officers pinned him down. Garner repeated the words, "I can't breathe," a total of 11 times while laying face down on the sidewalk for 7 minutes. Garner was pronounced dead an hour later at Richmond University Medical Center.
Snap. Oh shit, he broke. Can you break a nigger? Is it okay? Let's check the menu. Yep, page 8, you can break a nigger right there. See?
The individuals on this list are masters of their craft, and to do so, they must be aware of what's going on in society. A sense of society and people help to craft a joke to make it relatable and stand the test of time, and maybe even help predict a situation. So what's your favorite joke from this list? Or is there any other comedian that may have predicted the future? Let us know in the comment section below. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. Follow Comedy Hype across all social media and look out for our streaming services with all new content on comedyhype.com. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Terrence Sims.